and we are at the Computer Museum of America in Roswell, Georgia, near Atlanta. Closed today, but they'll open just for us.
Welcome!
Thank
so
you.
Good to
Hi,
see
Rina.
you guys. So glad you're here.
Computer Museum of America. In we go. Hello and welcome back. Today we are in Atlanta, Georgia, to visit the Computer Museum of America. This is the recent creation of entrepreneur and collector extraordinaire Lonnie Mims, and he did not do it halfway. He has a great collection of early personal computers, but also DEC PDP mini computers, a superlative collection of Cray supercomputers, as well as enterprise class and large scientific machines that you rarely see displayed anywhere. But it does not stop there, as there is an awesome Apollo/space display that includes an Apollo guidance computer. Now our channel certainly approves of this combination. Did I mention that the presentation is outstanding? Come with us for a tour, starting off in the early PC history with Master Ken as our tour guide.
Basically, it was sort of a desktop programmable computer and terminal, and the data point decided they wanted to replace the processor. The processor was made out of individual chips, so it was like this huge board with lots of chips. So they talked to Intel, and Intel's like, oh yeah, we can put that on one chip for you.
The beginning.
And so that turned into the 8008 processor. And then DataPoint is like, oh, we've moved beyond that. Why don't you keep the processor? And so Intel started selling the 8008, the 8080, 8086, x86. So basically, if it weren't for this, all of Intel would be different. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a thank you.
And the instruction set comes from that machine, doesn't it?
Yeah, so the 8008 was an exact copy of this, and then they extended that to the 8080, made it 16 bits with the 8086. So all your x86 processors can basically run this code if you put it through a bit of translation. But then the company, Intel's processors started becoming more popular, and they were kind of on the wrong side of the technology, and then they did a few financial shenanigans and stock price collapsed, and that was the end of it.
The race was on.
Yeah. This one I think is way overrated and kind of a toy, so I'm negative on that one.
That's
And it has an 8008 in it?
No, it's just TTL chips.
Oh really?
And it basically does nothing. But its main claim to fame is that various computer historians got together to argue over what was the first personal computer, and this was the one that won. So
okay.
So it beat the data point.
Do you agree with the conclusion?
Well, personal computer is just so vague. It's like impossible to make a claim there. But this one was declared the winner, and so now it's famous.
All right. Okay, so we go on to the real first personal computer.
I always say this is one of our Mona Lisa pieces, and the Enigma, of course, is a Mona Lisa piece. There are some people who will come here because we have this on display.
I don't want to say first, especially with personal computer, which is so vague, but this is the first one. Specifically, this is the first one where it was designed to be a personal computer.
Yes.
Alan Kay actually wrote this famous paper about personal computer, calling it a personal computer.
Right.
It has all the features.
It has all the features. We always show the kids the mouse.
And it has the Ethernet network, the first Ethernet card, right?
It had graphics, it had the mouse, it had word processing, it had laser printer, so it had all the features.
Us normal users can look at that and almost understand.
But basically, I figure if you take the data point and the zero cell and smash them together, you got the modern computer. That's great. so I think they sold the boards and then you solder them together.
Okay, does it have a microprocessor in it?
Yeah, I think it's 8008.
Good idea. Yes.
And then another one that looks good.
So this
comes
was
from the
cover of Radio Electronics.
Oh, I should make one of those.
Yeah, it was 8008 and had 256 bytes of RAM, so it was very limited.
Mm-hmm. But you learn computing.
Yeah.
And then the Altair. And the IMSI, we got the story that's happened when the Altair ran out of parts. And the guy that were distributing the Altair said, well, we got to give our customers something. And turns out that Altair hadn't patented their design. So I say, okay, well, we'll make something similar
And
that we can get the
use
parts
the
from.
parts.
And then, so that was it. And
yeah.
that started Computer Land, right? And that-
Computer. Oh, well, I appreciate the scrappiness of that.
The other important thing about these is they used a standard bus, S100 bus, so you could buy cards from different manufacturers and plug them in. So they were very extendable and made this whole ecosystem. So
Wow.
there's a huge amount of flexibility and sort of created this whole big market.
You know, it started as a fairly simple idea. It was going to be a timeline of people and products that propelled technology forward.
This large fresco is a giant timeline. Starting at the bottom, you have comics and movies of the time, technology developments, pop culture, aerospace. Approachable, artfully done, but yet with so much more depth and knowledge than your typical watered-down Smithsonian or NASA snippet. Lisa, there is very well presented. I'm impressed. We'll have to skip over many more items and transition past the electronic arcade machines.
Don Frogger, I think, originally, and it just, it goes, but it doesn't. It needs a little work.
I think we should make a terminal that looks like this.
We would love to get some of these.
The shape is incredible.
Yes,
I think you should take your beige HP machines
Yes,
and make them sparkly.
exactly. On to punch card era items such as this IBM 029 key punch, similar to the one we restored a while ago. I love the supersized punch card. There is even a Jacquard loom on display, one of the first punch card programmable machines. They have an IBM 1401. It's just very small.
And I didn't understand that was used so often by the salespeople.
Oh, they bring their little model. This is an IBM original?
I think that one did come from the archives.
Yeah, we work on that machine every week. And for the chuckle, here is our real-size IBM 1401, still in working condition. Let's move on to mini computers from the late 1960s and 1970s. The museum has a corner full of DEC PDP machines. Okay, PDP 15 is straight 8, top bunch of other PDPs. A 5, I don't know what that is. And a 12.
So,
Actually came from a biologist in Georgia Tech.
yeah, the rat lab.
Yes, that's the little cage. It actually has electrical connections. I'm not sure what they're for.
You get the result of the shock right there. Next is an impressive display of major silicon chips, something you also rarely see in museums. I recognized it instantly. This is the collection from Patrick Mullerini. I saw it when it was still in Pat's house in Nevada, thanks to our common friend, patron and frequent donator to the channel, John Pumpkinhead. Pat was a super nerd, a very successful one at that, and also had an impressive ham radio installation, including this large microwave dish. He is now in his 80s and wisely worked to transfer his collection while he was still alive. The dish has been preserved also. And not only did he have chips presented in this mural display, but he also had an extensive collection of wafers and vintage ICs, including these very first memory chips from Intel. The collection has been preserved in its entirety by the CMOA. We even saw some of the chips in the backroom labs. This one looks familiar. HP chips?
Yeah.
Would that be our transparent silicon on sapphire HP chip that had a faulty bit in our HP disk drive and that can manage to reverse engineer?
So these ones are interesting. We had to replace one in Mark's machine. They're HP chips, but they're not regular silicon. They're silicon on sapphire. So if you take the chip out, it's transparent and you can shine light through it.
Yep, it sure is. It's a 1AA6-6004, otherwise known as the Phi chip. I think there's enough material in here to keep Ken busy for the rest of his days. Moving on to the Apollo display. Whoa.
So where did you get this?
This was made by a prop place. We have so much filming done here now in Georgia. And so yeah, it's 78% to scale. We just ran out of space. We just could not go another quarter-inch up.
So this is the sister of the one we repaired. So there's the one we had, there's this one, and there's the one that's at Draper Labs in MIT. Okay. They are all related to each other. They have the AGC that was used in the Apollo LEM and Command Module Man rating missions, flown with real astronauts but in giant vacuum chambers in Houston. Ours was used in the LEM, theirs was used in the CM. Not only that, but they also have a real Apollo disky. What a beauty. And this is a core memory module from the LVDC, the IBM guidance computer that was steering the Saturn V booster. Nice. Everything's so nicely presented. They also have this beautiful and whimsical collection of moon dioramas made by a pilot who was both very gifted and keenly aware of the moonwalk details. You know why, right? They had this antenna. So this is for the color TV. That's the one where they tripped on it and they ripped the cable and no RIP experiment. And I'm attracted to the series of rockets to scale, and that's where you realize that how small Redstone was. And then the Saturn V just never fits in my frame. So those are the shuttle computers.
This is the core memory.
Oh, that's the original one. Wait, and what's that IBM 360 machine doing here? Ah, yes, it was used on the ground for the Apollo missions. So it's presented in context.
So it's not just random stuff, it's like, this is what they were using.
Yeah.
So that's very nicely done.
Nice, complete with Margaret Hamilton hiding in the corner with her big pile of Apollo listings. I cannot show everything in the extensive supercomputing section, but the collection of Cray machines is particularly impressive. From the iconic Cray 1 to the bathtub Cray 2 to all kinds of other Crays I didn't even know existed. This is very helpful because I always have a tough time figuring out what all these Crays are and how they are related. Crays, and more Crays, with the inside of some of them also on display. Dave, don't do this.
There we go.
My memory is going.
It's also just interesting seeing the whole shuttle that they move everything around with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never seen something like this before.
Yeah.
Also quite unique to this museum is the collection of enterprise class and scientific machines used in professional data centers. All multi-million-dollar machines that you rarely see on display. Oh wait, the current Summit computer is also installed here? Fooled you. It's another one of those beautiful murals. There's also a special note to the monstrous machines that were used for CGI in movies not that long ago, including Yes, another Cray of course, and Sun Silicon Graphics, and even the Pixar Cube. We also got a peek at the labs and storage rooms that are the behind-the-scene workspaces of any well-run museum. Of course, we were like kids in a candy store.
Random bags of chips here.
Yeah, those are just random sticking in.
Yeah, so Ken gets attracted to chips,
Well,
and I get
Yeah,
attracted to
I'm sure.
HP. So just so that you know,
Like
if
things
you,
that are very small.
Yes, well,
if you observe abnormal behavior, you've been warned.
there are boxes and boxes of chips. These 3 pallets.
Some Zilog chips, very nice. If you let me crack these open, I can tell you very interesting things about them.
See, I would love those
I would
stories.
too.
I also knew that Lyle Bickley, whom you have seen featured on the channel a couple of times, had transferred his large collection to the museum a couple years ago. Lyle told me that his collection was large, so how many aisles did he fill on your...
When he came in, probably 2, 4, 6 full, and that's the project
That
that I've been
takes-
working on since 2018.
Yep, that's gonna take some time.
2019, because I always said when I finish Bickley, I'm done.
I see HB 1926.
Items came from Lyle.
So that's Lyle.
If you recognize this, this is all from
This
Lyle.
is Orla, so 1926 is 36. Wow, he had what, 3 of them? Okay, we should get one going. At least.
That would be what
HP 1000 in 1925, so we've become the specialist of that. Another 1000 F, that's the better one, with its floating point addition. Complete. That's the floating point addition. The Apple Lisas are from Lyle too, and you have even seen one of them working on the channel on my VCF West 2017 video. Once we were done with our chips and HP stuff, we raided the IBM corner of the shop, where we had spotted an IBM 370. Ooh, the CPU actually.
That's a big hit when we put that out.
Yeah, Mark, you need to get one of these.
Yes.
Mark has a couple of tape drives like that in his garage.
Oh, okay.
But
3
he
of
needs-
them,
He needs
yeah.
the disc to go with it.
Yeah, and I'll have the whole set.
Well, that's a nice terminal.
So
Is that the IBM graphical terminal or
yeah,
something?
what is this thing?
Yeah, I don't know. That came in long before I got here.
Well, you can see
And that might not
the
say
burn-in on the screen.
I think, yeah, you should be able to open these panels up. Oh yeah, they just go and it reveals, yeah, IBM goodness. Yes, this is the IBM 2250 graphics display from 1970 with a 1024 by 1024 resolution. And here is, of all things, my tennis friend Paul Cutler using this terminal at NASA Ames in the 1970s when he was doing computational fluid dynamics calculations. And while we are on large IBM items, we believe we spotted the core memory panels for the IBM 2361 LCS, the large capacity storage option for the IBM 360, which you could get in sizes of several megabytes in the 1960s. I think this is one of the biggest core memory panels ever produced.
Because most of the core planes you see are like this big rather than window screen size.
There were many other treasures, a collection of Intel MDS development systems, an MIT Link, and many more awaiting their time for restoration or display on the planned museum expansion.
The dream is that we will be working on the computers here. Right now, we're a history museum, so we're just maintaining and keeping them for, the
Many
future.
generations.
But eventually, we'd love to do this.
Are you looking for volunteers?
We will be, but
Uh-huh.
not yet.
Not quite yet.
We would be overwhelmed at this point if we needed to, if we were ready to go with that.
As always, I'll see you in the next episode, but in the meantime, if you find yourself in the southeastern corner of the US, go see the CMOA, it's really worth it.
She's on loan from TechBridge from the Atlanta Cow Parade 2003.
15 pounds of Sims, 12 pounds of circuit boards, 25 pounds of CPUs.
It's amazing.
You best electronic car ever. Beautiful.
She is.